Dear students, hope by now you would have understood the qualities of color and different theories of color. Today, in this lesson, we are going to see how to apply the principles of design in the use of color. Can you please state the principles of design? Yes, you are right. The principles of design are balance, proportion, rhythm, emphasis, and harmony. Unfortunately, one cannot learn to apply color principles after merely reading about them in a book. They must be studied and they must be consciously applied every time a color is used. The first step toward intelligent color work is careful study of the color chart and value scale in different degrees of lightness or darkness to recognize colors in various degrees of brightness and dullness and to be able to picture the additional hues that appear between colors shown in a chart. The objectives of this lesson are to make you sensitive to color relationship, should understand color effects and combinations, to learn effects of color upon each other, and to know the guiding principles in the use of colors. The successful use of color is extremely complex and interesting. In different combination, one often finds that colors are beautiful for the purpose for which they have been chosen. Colors are so combined as to enhance one another's beauty. There is no such thing as ugly color or beautiful color. Color is beautiful if it is used in the right place and in right amount. It may be floor covering, upholstery material, wall painting, decorative art pieces, etc. Balance in color. Balance is a feeling of rest, repose, which underlines the well-known law of areas. The law of areas is also known as law of background. The law states that large areas of color should be quiet in effect, while small amounts may show strong contrast. The larger the areas, quieter the color, and smaller the areas, the more striking the contrast may become. This contrast may be done due to a decided difference in hue, in value, or in intensity. There should be a balance of bright and dull colors, as too much as anyone may appear monotonous. Colors which are alike in value and intensity will present the same amount of attraction to the eye and therefore balance each other. Too much of brightness may irritate, while too much of dullness may be depressing. For example, in child's room, warm color may appear cheerful, but a combination of it make it more appealing. Example, pink curtains with red and white checkered may go together. A small quantity of light value will balance a large amount of dark value, or small amount of dark can balance large areas of light color. The hues which are directly opposite to each other in the chart form a natural balance because they complement each other in the eye. For example, imagine a room furnished in a tan and brown with accents of bright red orange. Unless there is a cleverly balanced distribution of light and dark areas, the room might become monotonous. Addition of some of the opposite hue such as blue, green or blue-green, and it will be seen that the effect will be more satisfying through the introduction of balancing color. Balance of colors can also be achieved by selecting the varied amounts of bright and dull colors according to law of areas and by arrangement of these colors. By repeating some of the same colors, colors or values may be balanced in various parts of an arrangement. This is also called crossing, which has a tendency to give a feeling of rest. For example, imagine a dining room in which walls and woodwork are ivory white and the furniture mahogany in color. Let blue-green draperies hang at the window on one side of the room. This is not complete. If some echoes of blue-green appear in the accessories against the wall or chair seats or rug, it would give a pleasing effect. Proportion in color. Since each color has the power of attracting attention through hue, value and intensity, that attention must be considered as weight of the color. This principle applies to color as much as to sizes. Color combinations are more beautiful when the amounts are varied than when they are equal. Usually, the Greek proportion of 2 parts is to 3 parts or 5 is to 7 holds good here, but if the colors are very different in their forcefulness, they should be arranged according to law of areas and the brighter colors used in small amounts. Rhythm in color. In color, rhythm and balanced crossing or repetition implies an arrangement of colors along which the eye can move easily from one color to another. When colors are skillfully repeated in several places in a room, the eye travels rhythmically as it follows these colors. Rhythmic color results from the use of gradation in hue, value or intensity. However, there should be a gradual change in the value or intensity of a color. Emphasis in color. It can be achieved by contrast of hue, light and dark and brightness in color. In any color arrangement, there should be one outstanding color effect, even if it is quiet. Simple or complicated scheme, one should be conscious of a main color perhaps in different degrees of distinctness or in various values and intensities. For example, there may be an effect of an yellowish tone running through a group of orange. The effect of every other color used in the arrangement should be subordinated to the main color. If only black, white and greys are used, the same principle would be followed and one value would predominate. Always, one should be conscious in making the background should be quiet and less emphatic to make the objects effective against them. The effect of every other color used in the arrangement should be subordinated to the main color to prevent confusion. Harmony in color. Color combinations with harmony or unity give more pleasure to the eyes. They give the impression that all the colors really belong to each other. Yet, at the same time, there must be sufficient variety to avoid monotony. The most beautiful color schemes are those which have a single impression, an impression of warmth with a note of coolness or of coolness with the accent of warmth. Instead of interesting variety, discord is apt to result when extremely warm hues are combined with cold colors unless one follows the law of areas and uses the contrast in small amounts. If they are skillfully combined, contrasts are arresting and stimulating. Now we will see the factors affecting the use of color schemes for each room. Color is a source of universal pleasure. It is important for every one of us to have beautiful colors in our homes and learn to enjoy them. It is necessary for all of us to have some knowledge of color so that they are used to one's delight and to fortify them against dullness elsewhere. While planning color schemes for the rooms, it is necessary to consider them for the entire home as one unit to obtain a unifying effect. A color plan for the entire home in which each room is independent of the others has less unity than a related plan. It is wise to start planning for the living or drawing room first, then dining room and finally the bedrooms. Once these areas are planned, then the plan for the passages, corridors can be carried out. The color schemes for these areas can be different from the rooms to produce variety. Style and purpose of the room. The foremost factor in the selection of a color scheme for any room is the room itself, its size, shape and exposure. Analysis of a room is therefore the first factor in making a color scheme for it. While considering the size, small rooms gain spaciousness and appear larger with light, cool, receding colors in the background and on the furniture. On the other hand, the warm advancing color reduces the size of the room and make a room to seem smaller and cramped. In large rooms, warm or advancing colors are more appropriate than a cool or receding color scheme. A receding color will not only make the large room to appear larger, but may also have a feeling of being empty and underfurnished. A well-planned color scheme can help to alter visually the size of the room if it is desired so. Similarly, a long narrow room can be made to appear wider and of better proportion if the end walls are decorated with warm advancing colors and the side walls with cool receding colors. The room's shape can also be changed in similar ways. A rectangular room can be made to appear like a square one, and a square can be made to look like a rectangular one. This can be obtained by alternating receding and advancing colors on four walls of the room, thereby changing the shape of the room. Thus, the room can be made to appear in a better proportion. Another aspect of the room that affects the choice of color is the amount of sunlight that it receives. Rooms with too much light need dark, subdued colors. The rooms facing west, south, and southwest receive the maximum sunlight and therefore become very warm, especially in summers. In contrast to these rooms in the eastern and northern direction receive comparatively lesser sunlight. These rooms are cool, especially in winter. To counter this effect, cool colors in former rooms and warmer colors in the later rooms should be opted. The style adopted in a room determines the use of color. Certain styles, such as traditional or conventional, are best expressed by the authentic colors of the natural dyes that were used in the original furniture. Fashion. Fashion is an important aspect of civilized living. It influences or in a way limits all the things we use or enjoy. It is therefore not surprising that color schemes are also affected by fashions. One has to keep up with colors in fashion by visiting shops or reading magazines. In fact, it can be said that a person will find in the market only those colors which are in fashion, though they might prefer other colors for their house. Thus, fashion in a way limits the choice of color only to the available ones in the market. Thus, availability of color according to fashion is another factor deterring the color schemes of interiors. Mood. Mood of a room is an important consideration and can be expressed through and in colors. One has to decide which mood needs to be developed in the room, whether it is to be active or subdued, masculine or feminine, formal or informal, sophisticated or practical. A delicate feminine room can be done with dusty pink or peaches, while a masculine room in wine red, brown or navy blue. A living room, which is an activity centered room, would require a color scheme with electric blue, lemon and white with a small quantity of bright red. An elegant room similarly can be done with the neutral shades like grey, brown, beige, etc., along with the toned or grayed blues or pinks. Thus, the color scheme also exhibits the mood of a room. Personality. Personality of people also influences their color choice. Women who are too feminine may choose soft colors like pinks, peaches, etc. An informal room may call for colors that are bright, strong and stimulating. A room that is meant for relaxation and repose should have colors that are quiet and restful. Children's room may have colors that are either bright or delicate, such as red, royal blue or yellow. At times, a person's personality is shaped by her profession, place of living like urban or rural, etc. Such factors determine a person's personality and her choice of colors. Possessions. For anyone who is setting up a house for the first time, the exercise of furnishing and color plans begin from scratch. It is not difficult to choose whatever they would like to use in their homes, but In the case of families who are settled and are in the middle of the family life cycle, it is seen that their possessions limit the choice of colors. Carpets, furniture, etc., purchased earlier have to be used and cannot be thrown away in these days when these items have been bought at high prices. Some of the families may not likely to throw away certain items because of their sentimental values like family possession, gifts and others bought on special occasions. Some of the items may also have been in good condition and therefore last for a longer time. There is no point in discarding these to purchase fresh ones and incur some expenditure. Therefore, these items are to be taken into account while selecting fresh ones. Use of room. Among all the factors that influence the color choice, the most important one perhaps is the use of the room. The use of room influences the color scheme to a greater extent because color can help to emphasize the purpose of the room in addition to contributing to its efficiency and comfort. The use of a room decides in a way its color scheme. Color can help to emphasize the purpose of a room in addition to actually contributing to its efficiency. The time of day when a room is occupied most should be a factor in its color scheme selection, and naturally a room should look its best at the time. Effect of artificial lighting. The artificial light affects the color of the room. Thus, due consideration should be given as how colors would look in the type of lighting chosen in interiors. Yellow light of incandescent bulb will absorb yellow color and would make a brown color look very dull. A blue wallpaper would look grey and lemon yellow walls would look like peach color. Similarly, cool light of fluorescent tubes affect blues and purples and make yellow look very dull. Family taste and personalities. Some rooms used by all people should reflect not individual preferences but a general taste. A living room should neither be very feminine nor masculine. The favorite colors of the occupants should be used in the personal rooms. One's personal likes and dislikes of a color should not be used in a living room, dining room, or a family room. It is said that light colors should be used in children's room, vivid ones in young people's room, and similarly soft medium ones for adults. The common room should be painted with warm, cheerful colors and express hospitality. Now we will see the general guidelines for preparing color plans for rooms. Long narrow rooms can be given a wider look by painting the shorter walls in warm, advancing color tints of yellow, red or orange. Small box-like rooms can be made to appear larger by reversing the idea. Similarly, oppressively low ceilings can be raised by painting them with soft, receding colors, and high ceilings brought down by giving them a bold, advancing color. Similarly, vertical stripes add height to a short room by carrying the eye upwards unconsciously beyond the limits of the wall. If there is a room with many doors which break up the walls into small, ugly sections, camouflage is the best answer for them. Paint the door frames and all precisely of the same shade as the surrounding walls. Equal tones will camouflage even where the colors are different. Tones of the same weight will neutralize bad features in a room, whereas a blatant contrast in tone or intensity will highlight. Any color mixed with grey can be used in camouflaging because of its muting, receding effect. Dark colors will help to disguise paneling which is broken up by small doors or boards which are not well finished. The following points can be of help to a person to organize and decide the color schemes for their rooms. A safe scheme consists of tints and shades of one color. Definite schemes such as complementary, analogous or triad are generally recommended. An easy scheme consists of white or off-white plus 1 or 2 clear colors. 3 colors and their variation in value are sufficient for any scheme. A scheme should be definitely dark or light. Either warm or cool colors should predominate. A color scheme should often begin with a tertiary color. A neutralized color is generally best for large areas. The more definite color is suitable for medium areas. 1 or 2 brighter colors, sometimes complementary to the dominant color, are often used in small areas for accents. If a scheme lacks sparkle, a brilliant contrasting color note or white may be added. Equal areas of different colors are monotonous. Every color scheme should have a dominating color and a secondary color. In developing a color scheme for an interior space, one must consider carefully the chromatic tonal key to be established and the distribution of the colors. Traditionally, the surfaces of a room, its floors, walls and ceiling have the most neutralized values against background secondary elements such as large pieces of furniture or area rugs can have low chromatic intensity. Finally, accent pieces, accessories and other small scale elements can have strongest chroma for balance and to create interest. Of equal importance to chromatic distribution is tonal distribution, the pattern of lights and darks in a space. It is generally best to use varying amounts of light and dark values with a range of middle values to serve as a transitional tone. Texture. Texture is often the last aspect that is considered when decorating a room, yet its importance should be overlooked, especially when pattern is absent. Texture not only adds variety to plain furnishings, it also modifies the effect of color. While rough or matte textures absorb light and appear to add warmth, while shiny ones reflect it and create a cooler atmosphere. Pattern. The selection of colors used in pattern on wallpaper, fabric or carpet and their tones with other furnishings extends the theme for complete coordination, linking rooms by the use of color. Tints rather than bold, cold colors in large areas should be used where one wants to reflect light. Large patterns have the same effect as advancing colors. They reduce the impression of space. In contrast, abstract striped designs in related colors and delicate spring patterns on a white ground may, like receding colors, increase the sense of space. Color is an essential ingredient in the creation of a scheme because it is possible to play decorating tricks. Much of the most common problem these days that of trying to make a room look larger or of giving a spacious feel to a cluttered area. The cool colors of blue, green, lilac or grey are the receding ones, and so this is a group to choose from if one wants to create a feeling of space. Beauty. The most beautiful color schemes are those which give a single impression, an impression of warmth with perhaps a note of coolness for variation, or of coolness with an accent of warmth, are particularly desirable to follow this order when one is planning colors for large rooms. Keyed colors. A combination of several colors is said to be keyed when each color has something in common with every other color. Keying of color is the secret of creating successful color effect. Color may be keyed to each other in the following ways: by neutralizing them, by mixing them to introduce a color in common, by glazing, veiling or topping them, by tying them together by means of a neutral color, by the use of a rough texture. Thus, color combined in various ways create a wonderful effect. By using various means as mentioned earlier, one can balance the colors harmonize them and please the eyes for the creator as well as of the viewer. Now, let us see what we have studied in the today's lesson. I have been talking to you about the various principles to be applied while using the colors. Now, what are the principles what we have seen? Harmony, proportion, rhythm, balance and emphasis. Now, these principles of design have to be applied on color while we are using. Other than that, I have talked to you about how to make use of these colors, the factors which are influencing the use of colors. Hope this would have given you wide knowledge on how to apply colors in the interior. So, the knowledge of principles of design in the use of color only is not adequate. Now, in practice, when you are using these color harmonies, you will get more of experience, and this would definitely help you to decide on a better color harmony. I hope this will give you adequate knowledge, and all the best for your future endeavor.